Hi, my name is Annabelle and I'm a goldsmith, I'm a nib specialist, and I also make my own nibs. I graduated from goldsmithing school in 2020, and for my graduation piece, or masterpiece as they call it, I made a pen called the Symphony, and on this pen was a nib, the very first wonky little gold nib that I made. In the following year I kept playing with the idea of creating a nib that was kind of inspired by Japanese stack nibs. A nib that was similarly layered, but made out of one sheet of metal. And so the Harmonic Nib was born. So I made a bunch of prototypes and I gave them to my friends to test. And a year later, I released my first batch of gold harmonics. And they sold out within a few hours. The following year, I released another batch that sold out within a few minutes. And last year's batch, I created it in collaboration with Cusado. And that sold out within the first day of the San Francisco Pen Show. So this year, in 2025, I'm trying my hardest to increase production and to sell more, but smaller batches of harmonics more consistently throughout the year. I basically want to give as many people as possible a fair chance at purchasing a nib. I also want to facilitate the experience of picking up your nib in person and to sit down with me and have the nib fitted and tuned to your specification. So if you are one of the people interested in buying one of my nibs, pay attention. This is the game plan. On my website, you will find a Google form. I ask that you only fill out the form if you genuinely intend to buy a nib of mine, just so I have a general idea of how much interest there is. So if you fill out the form, get selected, and don't actually plan on buying a nib, I will deprioritize you in the future. So on the form, you have different options. Think of them as different hats that you can throw your name into as for how you'd like to purchase a nib. The first question is, where do you want to buy your nib? Say you're planning to attend the Chicago Pen Show. Great show, by the way. Super fun. You can submit your name into the Chicago Pen Show hat. As the show comes nearer and I start preparing for it, I will draw as many names from the Chicago Pen Show submission hat as there are nibs available. So if your name gets drawn, I will email you ahead of time and you can order your harmonic nib. Full payment up front, you select your custom grind and tuning, and I will have the nib ready for you to pick up at the show. You can sit down with me and we test it, and we'll do any last adjustments if necessary. That is option 1. Option 2 is entirely online. The downside is that I cannot fit the nib into the pen for you. There will be shipping and possibly import fees, but the upside is that you can be just about anywhere in the world and still get a nib. So it is pretty much what we've done in the past, and I hope to do a few of those releases this year. Lastly, and this may be the most interesting option for some, but the one that I'll be doing the very least of, if you have an idea of what your dream nib might look like, and any harmonic would be nice, but you really only care for this one special design that would be completely personal and meaningful to you, you might fall into this category. Making nibs, as unique as the person writing with it, is a very exciting but also a very time-consuming endeavor. Think custom engravings, textures, gemstones, enamel. Other techniques beyond that, these nibs will require one-on-one calls, refining the design, practice, prototyping, and they will likely far exceed the price of a base model of a harmonic. So for now, those are the lowest priority. But all of this is an experiment. I think this can work. I hope I can make as many people happy as possible, but I also may be way in over my head. I say let's just try it. So if you are interested in one of my nibs, it's not first come, first serve. Consider filling out the form on my website. And the very first show that I will be attending with a few nibs of mine is the California Pen Show in less than 2 weeks. There you go, we're working on it. And if you don't want one, that's perfectly fine. I hope I'll catch you at a pen show anyway.